powerful legacy. EU winning at the start. Long forgotten.
The G2 2019 roster?
2019 was but a doorway.
Yes, completing the trophy. Like me in 2019.
Don't listen to the old Kings fanatic. Besides, you haven't won a trophy in years. And even if you did, we have Yike now and the prodigy Callist. There is no chance you win spring.
We need you all 10K gold behind. Get out of here.
No takes backsies.
Guys, can you let me out? What is this?
No. Anyway, losing that finals was an unfortunate turn. As for the might of Yike, that won't matter this spring. A single engage from Mickey carries harder than 1,000 blades.
We'll see. To Ionia then.
Welcome to the LEC live from Berlin, Germany, where we say goodbye to Noxus and hello to Ionia. It seems like when Dracos and Veri made the Chaos song, all they truly did was leak the official LEC script for Spring Split. From G2 falling off to failed backdoors to teams literally being stuck in Madrid, you name it, we got it. I'm Jeannie, I'm joined on the couch area, I guess, with GB and Jack. And you know what? There's only 2 weeks left. Regular season, which leaves the question, what can we actually expect here, Jack?
I mean, it's been a crazy season so far. If we could pull up the standings here, it's just absolute chaos. It's really, for me, so unexpected how all these events have turned out.
If you told me at the start of spring that G2 was going to be tied 5th with Vitality with autofill support, GB, I would tell you you're insane.
Yeah, you're right. Seeing G2 on a 3-game losing streak at this point, almost, maybe not even making playoffs. And then all just the teams like 3-3, 3-3, like 2-4, anyone can still make it.
Yeah.
And somehow Heretics has snuck into top 4 as well, which is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it's been really insane. And just as you said, the fact that anybody can still make it in the last 2 weeks, it's been the craziest playoff run so far out of any LEC that I've watched, at least.
Let's have a look specifically at what we can expect this week, because 2 of the teams that are playing today and tomorrow are not actually going to be playing next week, even though we have 2 weeks left. So that's BDS and Fnatic, which to me means that the stakes for today and tomorrow are insanely high.
Yeah, and they're high for every single team. Even for Rogue, KC versus Rogue, looks a bit hard, but they still have a chance.
Okay,
make a playoffs. I see your face, and I agree, but it's the fact that there's a chance, and that's crazy.
You know, there's not just a chance for Rogue making it to playoffs. There is like something even crazier happening, GB, and I feel like you want to share that hot take.
Yeah, I mean, we got stakes for the teams. Let's put some stakes on the analyst as well here. Here's my take, all right?
All right.
G2, they won't qualify for playoffs this time around.
Wow.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, it sounds crazy. They're 3-3 right now, but let's get into it, right? So, first of all, yeah, let's have a look at the percentage of scenarios that they currently qualify in.
Okay.
As of right now, 49% of them, they qualify straight to playoffs, which is fine. But are those numbers good enough for a team like G2? I don't think so, which means on the other 50% of the scenarios, they don't actually make playoffs. And in 34% of those scenarios, they have to play a tiebreaker for it, right? So let me run you through a scenario, right? It sounds crazy. First of all, G2 versus Vitality. With G2 on a 3-game losing streak and Vitality having a high, let's say, ceiling sometimes.
But they're an autofill support.
It doesn't matter because sometimes they just deliver. Jack, is it too crazy that Vitality could beat G2?
It's not that crazy.
It could
it's a crazy
happen.
league we're in.
It is a crazy league. So I'll say Vitality beat G2, right? Then we're moving on to G2 versus SK. I'm not delusional, okay?
That's pretty crazy.
Yes, G2 is beating SK. That is happening.
Okay.
Cool. But then the final one.
The final boss.
KC, current first place of the league, against G2, who already fell to them in winter, with the context of this matchup being that they are playing it in KC's home arena. G2 just came from a weekend of arenas going 0-2. It is not looking great for them, so I'm saying KC beat them, right? Which takes us to what those standings then would look like, because other teams are obviously playing at the same time. In my scenario, with everything I just outlined, G2 would have to play a tiebreaker with Team BDS. Jack, enlighten me once again. What happened last time G2 played against BDS?
1-1-3, baby.
1-1-3, baby. They lost. So my point is just, it's not too crazy that we live in a world where G2 isn't making playoffs.
I agree. And I think...
Okay, what other world we live in?
I mean, there's a fall from grace, as GB outlined, but I also think a team can rise from the ashes, such as Giant X. They looked horrendous in the first few weeks. Let's be real. They did not look synchronized. Nothing was working for them. But in that roadshow in Madrid, they showed glimpses of brilliance that we've never seen from them since. And now, going up against BDS and Team Heretics, is it so far-fetched to say that they could beat both? Team Heretics, yes, they are sitting at a positive record at top 4, but I think they can beat them. And the same with BDS. 113 has some magic, but consistency is not what they're known for.
Very
right?
true.
So you might think to yourself, oh, only 23% percentage of scenarios where they get a tiebreaker. But if they win both of their games, they're at 4-5. And if we can get up a little scenario here, there is a very real possibility that as long as they win 2 games, they will have a tiebreaker as well.
Wow, this is like the classic case of EU copium. So also just in, by the way, Giotto told both of you to check your bank account.
I mean, he was saying that G2 wouldn't make Worlds.
Okay, but that was... After that, what happened? But
well, their fall off in spring, maybe they fall off further in summer.
This is not even the craziest part, because we also live in a world where there is a chance that we have 8-team tiebreakers. Like, that's 80% of the league here, GB.
Yeah, I mean, I think the math checks out. That is pretty crazy. This is what you need for the 8-team tie scenario. If you want crazy, this is everything you're hoping for. So you can follow that alongside Hope, keep track of this. Now, the scenarios are very unreal, but not impossible.
Yeah, and that just makes the league, I don't know, so exciting in these last 2 weeks. Because I've watched a lot of LEC, and sometimes the last weekend, it can be like a lot of songs.
You haven't watched a lot of LEC, you literally work here.
Well, before, you know, I watched a lot of LEC. And a lot of the time, the last week, it would be like already decided. But these 2 weeks feel so crucial, because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
This looks crazy. 4-5, 4-5, 4-5. Oh
I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
But Giants will make playoffs.
Okay. Shox, however, is standing by with Fnatic, team's manager Anissa, as well as Humanoid, to have a little bit of a chat about the craziness of Madrid and being stuck in Spain and not being able to make it out. And you know what? Just let's head over to the Marriott Bonvoy pregame interview to see what happened.
Fnatic is playing BDS today, and they finally got back to Berlin. I've got Humanoid here and their team manager, Anissa, who can both talk me through the ordeal. Yeah, how did it go? How did you get from Madrid to Berlin?
Well, I mean, it took us a few days of being stuck there with pretty much nothing to do. And we are nerds without electricity, so it was the worst time of our lives, probably. But we survived, so... yeah.
Yeah, luckily you have a wonderful team manager who probably had to fix a lot. This is kind of what your boys were up to, Anissa. Can you walk us through the atmosphere in the camp? Was it apocalyptic?
It was definitely apocalyptic. I had my players, we had to decide who we were going to eat first for information. That was Duffman, because he had more meat on him. So we were there in the hotel. We had no electricity. We were supposed to go back, and then we got told we weren't allowed to leave because the roads were a bit dangerous. So we had to go out, and there was like no cars on the roads. There's no electricity. The supermarkets were all closed, so I had to go and get like...
Is that Nutella? What is that?
So
okay, thank God.
It's fake Nutella. It's some Spanish Nutella.
Oh, I see.
Nutella?
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to get a bunch of stuff and put it all together. But luckily the boys were really great. Like, we were all having fun. We were just chilling in the hotel lobby. Yeah.
You seem very competent in order to help them. I don't know about them by themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I did have to make sure that they were eating properly and drinking properly. But I think most of it was just them being great and having fun. I mean, we had guests like Noah come over to our team as well and beg to stay in Oscar's hotel room.
It was team building, really. Yeah. Marek, you also went to Prague for a little bit. Is that your doing?
Nah, I think we just didn't get a flight to Berlin, so we had to get a different option. And Prague is pretty close, so at least we had some fun times in a really good city.
Yeah, hashtag LEC to Prague.
To the LEC in Prague.
Okay, we just thought the same thing.
Yeah. It was fun, but we only waited there for a bit, so...
Actually, in Prague, Marek took over as manager because he speaks Czech, so it was quite nice that he...
So he got to weigh on you for a change?
Yeah, so he took us to the restaurant, ordered all our food, and usually in Germany it's me because nobody else, or before, nobody would speak German. So yeah, it was quite nice for Marek to show us around, and he took us to the square as we were walking back to the train station as well.
Lovely from Marek.
The side effect is, of course, that there's patch changes and you really weren't able to scrim a lot, I think. What's the situation like? So how are you going into this week?
Well, I mean, the patch, to be honest, didn't really change almost anything as usual. The only change is kind of the Atakan, and it doesn't really matter too much. So
Doesn't
I think,
it?
Yeah, I mean, we played on it for 2 days.
Yeah,
I feel like it doesn't really matter too much. You just, it's the same. You just take it, and you're happy if you get it.
But Fnatic and Atakan, you know, that's...
I mean, we will throw on it the same amount as before.
Okay, I see. Okay.
So nothing changes about that, but I think we are ready.
Okay, nice. Thank you both a lot for walking us through the ordeal, and good luck to Fnatic today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, good luck to Fnatic. Good luck to every single team that was stuck there, because they only had 2 weeks of practice on a new patch. But then KC said, you know what? Let's throw ourselves in the mix as well and have our top laner miss his flight. Because, you know, why not? Let's even the playing field.
Yeah, it's chaos both on and off the Rift, it appears, right now in LEC, with a lot of teams missing practice. And as Humanoid said, it's not the craziest patch. New Atakan, a few balance changes, but it does definitely hurt the teams that are coming in with a lot less practice, a lot of maybe the new meta that the other teams have been playing in scrims. They haven't gotten to experience as much. So maybe, you know, they'll struggle a little bit with that adaptation.
Looking at what they were eating, though, plain tortillas with Nutella, and I guess plain tortillas with salami. What the?
I mean, that's crazy. Me and Jack, we had a club sandwich, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty
Okay, why are you
bad.
flexing? Like, they were struggling, fighting for their lives, and you're like, I had a club sandwich.
Fighting? We were in the same situation.
You came back earlier, though.
That's true. I didn't have to go to Prague, so...
We got a direct flight, yeah. So that was lucky.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say our food was the best either. It wasn't. We weren't living like kings.
So apparently Jack just hates Spanish food.
Okay, no,
Whoa,
that's not what I
that's
said.
a crazy statement, throwing him under the bus
I love
already.
Spanish food. Thank you very much.
Okay, nice save. But regardless, you're talking about how it's going to be a little bit more difficult for some of these teams to actually be able to play now that they've only had 2 days of practice on the new patch. So the way I'm looking at it, BDS and Rogue, like low-key, they got a good chance.
I mean, they got a better chance. A good chance is still optimistic, right?
I'm trying to be nice.
No, honestly, you're right. Sorry. I
feel like
Come on.
lumping BDS and Rogue in the same group. Are we doing a lot of disservices to BDS here? Come on.
I mean, they stayed and they had to prac and they could scrim, you know.
But Rogue are like, they need a miracle. BDS is like...
Hey, it's the LEC,
they're
right?
against
Anything can
Giant X
happen.
and they're against Fnatic. They could, you know?
Yeah, but you...
But you just said that GX was going to make playoffs, so what do you
I
need?
think that Giant X will win, yes. But BDS is still like...
Yeah?
They have better odds.
No, for sure. And to go back to your point as well, right? It looks impossible for Rogue. Like,
Yeah.
their schedule is insane coming up to this one. So they need everything. So, right, even this to benefit their chances, yes, they'll probably happily take that.
Do you think KC done it on purpose? They're like, ooh, let's give ourselves 2 days and like make it a little bit more difficult. So if it doesn't go as planned against Rogue, we can be like, oh guys, we didn't have frag. Oops.
No, I don't think they did it on
Wow, who would have thought? Yeah, I think if anything, it really puts into perspective how not only the games today are super important, because again, Fnatic and BDS, these are the only games that they're going to be playing this week as well as tomorrow. And then for the side of Rogue, it literally is do or die. However, also, we would like to say that we are very deeply saddened by the news of the legend Maciej Szyszej Radzodniak passing. Szyszej won Season 1 Worlds with Fnatic as the MVP, securing his place in esports history forever. Thank you for everything.
So Szyszej, as you were saying, the MVP so far, I think he's going to go 70-0. I think Szyszej going 70-0 in this game. The game will only be 4 minutes long, but he will get 70 kills in a row.
You see the push around from Jarvan as well, moving into this area. Amazing from Szyszej.
Dla mnie Szyszej jest jak smok wawelski. To jest legenda, która gdzieś tam istnieje. Wszyscy o nim mówią, a był taki wielki midlaner Szyszej, który grał Gragasem na midzie. On tam beczkę przynosił na eventy, rzucał nią w ludzi. Fajnie, zabawnie było. Wygrał Mistrzostwa Świata.
Fnatic going to win the Season 1 championship if they can hold on. This Nexus will go down. Congratulations to Fnatic winning the Season 1. GG indeed.
Trzeba patrzeć na konia, jakim jest. Hej, to był turniej inny niż wszystkie pozostałe mistrzostwa świata. Czy to ujmuje sukcesowi Szyszeja? Nie. Wszystkich, których powinien pokonać, pokonał. Więc co miał zrobić lepiej w tamtym roku? W 2011 wycisnął z LoL'a ile się dało w 2011. Więc mamy Polaka mistrza świata i nie powinniśmy umniejszać temu, nie powinniśmy się tego wstydzić, powinniśmy się cieszyć, bo Szyszej został zresztą MVP całego turnieju w pełnym zasłużeniu.
So I want to ask you about your your cosplay here. You are the best Gragas cosplayer I've seen at DreamHack.
To był słynny wywiad, bo on wtedy wziął ze sobą butelkę wody i udawał Gragasa, który był jego mainem. On był słynnym w ogóle Gragasem. On łamał troszeczkę metę wtedy, tak? Na przykład grał tym Gragasem, o ile pamiętam, na środku, co w ogóle wszystkich w ogóle głupieli przy tym, po prostu nie wiedzieli, co się dzieje.
I would like to ask the fans to support the idea of making Gragas Shushei skin.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm gonna make the post on the forum later and yeah.
So I think we're gonna have to see a petition form and a lot of signatures if we want to get that skin made. So help us out, get a Shushei Gragas skin.
No i później zrobiono w sumie skina nawet na jego cześć troszeczkę. Te skiny Fanatnika zostały wypuszczone chyba z 3 czy 4-letnim opóźnieniem, no ale właśnie pamiętam, że wyszedł i mogłem zagrać Shusheiem w ligę. Strasznie mnie to bawiło zawsze.
So when did you know that you had won?
Nexus fell.
That's a pretty good answer.
Był taką, nie chcę mówić maskotką, bo to jest deprecjonujące, ale taką trochę ikoną, a trochę właśnie takim pomieszaniem ikony z maskotką. Był zabawny, był wyraźny, był świetnym graczem i był rozrywkowy. Słowo legenda do niego akurat bardzo, bardzo dobrze pasuje.